Well, it's good to have you. So this letter dated August the 26th, 2025 was posted by you. It was addressed to Mr. Deji Adeyanju, that's you, of course, Deji Adeyanju and partners. And it's titled Demand for Retraction and Apology for Defamatory Publications Against His Excellency, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. It's about 5 pages or so long. So I'm not going to go through all of that, all of the details in that document, but I'll just take a part of it. It speaks to some of the posts that you made on X with your handle at Adeyanju Deji. And this document says that you have repeatedly published false, malicious, and grossly defamatory statements concerning Mr. Peter Obi, and they say it's calculated to injure his reputation before right-thinking members of the Nigerian public and the international community. In fact, one of those posts says, Peter Obi can only be president of the obedience on social media. You see, I will rather give it to Tinubu than the leader of the mob, in your words, political extremists who do not want Nigerians to criticize their presidential candidate have no place in our polity. Mr. Adeyanju, as I said, 5 pages long, lots of things said, but let's just start by saying this is not in court yet, so we can discuss this. What exactly is your grouse against Mr. Peter Obi and the obedience?
Yes, so in the wake up to the 2023 general election, because I'm not political, I'm just expressing my thoughts about why the opposition should come together and unite against the criminal APC and roguish APC government that always rig elections. That if the opposition is divided, that there's no way they can win. I was just expressing my political thoughts and views. The idea of the Obi candidacy excited me, and I said, but that he needed the buy-in of Atiku and Kwankwaso. I even urged Kwankwaso to deputize Obi. I urged Atiku to step down for Peter Obi, you know, and all that. So in the process of that analysis, just expressing my views, I also said the fact that Atiku has been running for president in perpetuity, that he cannot continue to run. I was just expressing my views as a Nigerian. So then Peter Obi all of a sudden started trying to reach out to me to meet me. But at that time I was out of the country. I think I was in Dubai or somewhere, you know. So, but he was persistent in reaching out to me, and I was avoiding him. But you know, I didn't want to see him because I didn't want it to look like, oh, because I've expressed my views, which seems to be like almost in his favor, he now wants to see me and corner me to be one of his supporters. I don't want to support any position because I'm not partisan. Because some people had already started even resigning from activism and joining him. You know, so I didn't want to join his bandwagon, but I was excited by the idea of Peter Obi because, of course, Southeast have not produced a president in a very long time, except after post-independence anyway. So I was excited. So subsequently, I made some further views, and this time around he was more persistent. So one of his aides, a journalist, reached out to me. So we subsequently met. And I said, yes. He first recommended me for some of my views and all that and said that it would be exciting to work together. I said, I'm not working with anybody. But I now made some observations about the things that he has been accused of doing in the past. Corruption. Sarah reporter reported the story where his staff was caught with money. He tried to explain it, but I was not satisfied. Then I also raised the issue about these issues of him using state resources in Anambra to invest in his family business. His explanation to me in his defense was that he had resigned from the company before he became a governor. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't just wait to get up to leave the place. I'm like, how can a man that wants to be president of Nigeria not see the clear abuse? He has abused his office.
Okay, let's just skip this.
Do such a thing. He was justifying it. He didn't see anything wrong in it. I was completely disgusted. So eventually, I didn't want to disrespect him, so I wanted to leave. And then he got into, because we're like in a living room, it's like a suite. Then he got into a room and said, oh, please, he's coming. That he wants to go inside the room and he has something for me. So he brought one envelope or something like that and said, no, this is just a small thing. It's just for coming. Blah, blah, blah. I said, I laughed. I said, that means you don't know me. I said, and you are friends with Mimiko, former Governor Mimiko and others. There are people that was close to you. Have asked them about me. If we do anything because of conviction, it's even me that will bring out of my money and support you. You know, so he kept insisting that it's not like that, it's not what I'm thinking. I said, God forbid, I left. So, however, I never revealed what happened to anyone.
Okay.
So, I remember vividly, he went to, was it Egypt? To inspect some power something. At the peak of the Ekiti election, when his candidate in the Labour Party was running. So I criticized and said, you should be in Ekiti and not in Egypt. And I said, because you want to be president, you must go and campaign for your...
Okay, so let me just pause there. Now, all of this, I believe, would if the case continues and eventually, you know, gets to court, they go to discovery, you're gonna have all of this happen. You're gonna have them ask questions. They're gonna put Deji on the stand, and to fact check and also ask for evidences. They're gonna cross-examine him. Okay, but that being said, again, I still don't understand the whole story with respect to this and that. It's more of, oh, he said this, I said that. I believe there are no recordings of all this. The issue with logistics and transport, again, I don't think that's a bribe. And I'm not trying to be kind of, middle road there. I don't think that's a bribe. Okay, because you already said, oh, you're not going to support him. Now, if he gives you something to kind of, of a kind gesture, you've spent resources to come to him, I understand. Now, if you don't take it, that's your own prerogative. That's your own thought. That's your own thought. So that's not a big issue for you to then conclude that this guy is corrupt. Now, with respect to his family business and all of those stuff, I have an issue with that also. Politicians in Nigeria do that. From the president to Obi, and where are the laws where you have all of these compromises, especially with public office holders? Where are the laws to address that? As long as there are no major laws to prohibit, all of this happening, is going to continue to happen. The same thing, even the United States, they have that issue that most of the corruptions of the politicians are outside of their name. So it becomes difficult for you to go after them, especially when it's legitimate. Okay. Now, for example, what Obi did with family and all that, according to him, now, disclaimer, I don't have any proof, but most of Obi's assets and most of Obi's stuff are under the, what's it called now? They're under the next, whatever group of companies. Okay. It becomes so difficult and they all do it. So I cannot understand where he's coming from.
Trying to win, man, his aides. Some of these young boys that are around him started insulting me. That the reason why I'm criticizing him now is because that I was saying that he was okay, he was good. That the reason why I'm criticizing him now is that I brought a proposal to him and I demanded, is it 200 million or something? And that he told me that. I said, me? And these are his close aides. So they started doing that. So I said, oh, because I had observed the pattern about them, that they terrorize people online, insult people, slander people. His mob, his obedient mob, were practically uncontrollable during the last election. So I said, okay, so these people do not even want dissent of any kind of criticism of their candidate of any kind.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. I mean, this is very rich coming from Deji. Very, very rich coming from Deji. Everybody knows, and maybe those that are paying attention alone, but people know that this guy talking about being obedient, being violent online, or calling everybody out online, that was practically how you became known, Deji. That was how you became Deji. You need to go back to when this guy started. I guess most of those tweets are off right now. Deji, you yourself, you are now crying foul of what you yourself started. Because I remember when you started all those years, all those early years of your career, when you started, you yourself turned the social media then, which was relatively peaceful, you turned it upside down. You made it a mess. Your tweets at times, at that time, was appalling. Have you come out to apologize for all those stuff? I mean, you call people names, you curse people out online, you abuse people online. So all of a sudden now you've forgotten because you're at the receiving end of this same activity that you're crying foul of. Again, I'm saying obedience. I would not for 1 second tell them to even censor the whole thing. They call you names, they abuse you, they curse you out. Let them continue. Again, it's all about tons, right? You had your own time when you yourself online, you were on cloud, you did a lot of havoc too, to be honest. So again, is what obedience doing? Is it good? What they're doing, is it good? Is it no? But again, it's not illegal. It's not illegal, and people are fighting back too. So
okay, I said I'm not going to even leave Tinubu alone and now face them, because we cannot have a situation in our country or in our polity where political extremism becomes the order of the day, and Nigerians are living witnesses to the things that eventually happened to the build-up of the last election. We have never had this kind of toxic political experience. Aside the Buharis, after the Buharis, the obedient mob is the most toxic.
What does it mean, the Buharist? Again, yeah, maybe certain individuals, and the obedient mob is the most toxic. Okay.
In this country, threatening Supreme Court judges, Court of Appeal Court judges, threatening artists, threatening Professor Wole Soyinka, insulted everybody.
No, I mean, there's a difference between insult and threatening. I can't say categorically, like, if you say they insulted them, yes, that's what they do. Obedience are, they're the most, they belong to the cesspool of internet scum. But for you to say that they threatened, maybe some people, but if it was a visible threatening, there's a law to go after them. Okay, you can't threaten a judge. But again, like I said, you yourself has been on this side at some point in your career.
This country, because of Peter. And so, and what are the things I said? Everything I said is true. In a civil suit or criminal suit of defamation, justification, truth is a defense. What are the things I said? I said he's a political fraud, that he's parading himself as a messiah. Of course, he is a political fraud. Didn't he swear that he will never leave Abga? That any day he leaves Abga, let something which I won't want to say on TV. Then he left Abga. The only thing that I forgot to say, among the things that he should now add to his defamation suit, is that he's a political prostitute. Hobnobbing. And look at what he said about the people that he wanted to defeat in the last election. He said they operate in criminality, but today he's with them. He has one leg in PDP, they are discussing with him, another leg in ADC, and he's still a member of Labour Party. Confused politician. So he should do his worst.
All right, DJ, a lot has been said. We just allowed you to say some of the things, and of course your position is well noted, but we may have to be moderate with our words, given everybody you've mentioned, whether it's the APC, Peter Obi, and everybody. I know you speak without, no matter whose ox is God, but this is TV, so that we're within regulation. But given that has been said, there was also another suit, we understand, so that we establish this. I understand you have also filed a suit against one of his followers. Is that true?
Is his aide, is one of his aide that always with him, one Sarah. In the build-up to the election, she called my wife a prostitute. That my wife...
So I have a story around this Sarah Ibrahim. I think she's one of the person working with Peter Obi. I have a story about that happened this week that actually was with me. I was meant to debate her. Okay, there was this talk about, they're putting in a lot of millions and a lot of money out for people to defend APC. I didn't even know that she's very, very like close. I know she's a stout supporter of Peter Obi, but I didn't know she works directly with Peter Obi. So yeah, but that did happen. That did happen, and yeah, I called it off because at some point it was just a distraction for me. But yeah, so let's see.
And he endorses these things because these are his aides. There is no way your personal aides will be attacking people. Your critics, they'll be attacking them, insulting them. There's no name. They didn't call me. They called me a terrorist. They called me a gun runner. They said I was the one that supplied his aides, his close aides. That was the one that supplied arms for gun running for Dino. What is my business with Dino? They called me a murderer. There's no name. They called me a blackmailer. Blackmailing who? This same Peter who cannot tolerate criticism today calls Shore a blackmailer in chief because Sarah reporters ran the story against him. He's a political fraud.
Okay, so
and look at I called him a religious bigot. Of course, on this station, the former PDP chairman in Anambra in his state said he was the one that divided and started the religious division in Anambra between the Anglicans and the Catholics. Look at what he did in the last election.
Yeah, on I did a story on that one. That video is not even a recent video, so let's not kind of tag it as one. It wasn't a recent video. It was a video that was done 7 years ago, where I did a commentary on that, and he said Obi has divided Anambra, the Catholics, the Anglican, and all of those. So again, that's not me. That's his own people saying that. So I kind of understand, where Deji's coming from, but
I was discussing with my Bishop Oyedepo, the Yes Daddy thing, calling the election a religious war that he should be supported because the election is a religious war. He's a religious bigot. I said what I said he should do his worst.
Well, Mr. Adeyanju, because this platform is an international platform, let's measure our words. I know these issues will still be discussed in court.
So again, like, I've not seen anything that they just said in this whole video that is kind of out of the. It's not calling him names. It's just saying, okay, fine. It's calling him names. Okay, it's calling him names, but these are things that it's in the open out there. Okay, it's in the open out there. And it's not my fault that Obi as a presidential candidate. It's just, I don't know. I know it's loved by a lot of people. Like, people can go to an odious extreme for Obi, and those that hate him also, they hate him passionately. So they have these two opposing ends that they kind of fight each other. But most people just want to live a normal life. Okay? Most people are not even interested in all this story. They just want to live a normal life. But it is what it is.
But the purpose of this conversation, since he's not here to speak to those issues, we don't want to be seen to be insulting anybody's sensibilities. But those points, you've made them time and again on social media. I mean, people who don't know you will probably be shocked. But this is something you've done consistently. You're an activist. And you don't seem to be afraid to say your mind.
And he has also been this way before. Not just him not being afraid. There's a difference between you being afraid to say your mind and you going out to insult people. Deji has insulted people a number of times before, even with no evidence. He's done that. So again, I'm saying now he's crying foul because he's at the receiving end of the lawsuit. I would even say that he was part of those that planted the seed of this nastiness in politics. Yeah, because that's the way it works. That's the way you generate likes. That's the way you generate views. That's the way you go viral. Just puts a little bit of hate there, a little bit of hate here, a little bit of hate there, and it becomes something that transcends even beyond online stuff, online thuggery.
Through some of the other claims in that document that was addressed to you, because a lot of people are wondering, why are you doing this? They see you, in this sense, demarketing Mr. Peter Obi in favor of the APC, because that's what it is in that sense, because you actually said it clearly, that rather than vote for Mr. Peter Obi, on that first page. You give your votes to President Tinubu than to give it to Mr. Peter Obi. So a lot of people are asking,
Yes,
are you working with the APC? They always refer to your brother as well and say, oh, there's a certain Adeyanju working with government. So let's use this medium to speak to that. Are you defending the, or at least are you supporting the APC by demarketing Mr. Peter Obi?
Why will somebody like me, God forbid that I support APC, support APC for what?
But you said you'd rather give your vote to Mr. Tinubu.
If the opposition presents Peter Obi, I will vote Tinubu. Because we cannot have a situation where people, a man who leads a mob that terrorizes people online, that cannot tolerate criticism, that call people all sort of, anybody that does not support their candidate is an enemy of Nigeria. Anybody that does not support the candidate has been paid, has been compromised, is supporting the government. Who has Peter Obi criticized this government like the way I've criticized? Does Peter Obi even know what democracy is? What sacrifices has he made for democracy? Look, we have put our line on the line for this country, for preservation of democracy, at personal expense of prosecution. What kind of charges have we not faced in this country? At a time, I was almost charged for terrorism. They've charged me for all kinds of offenses in this country. So what are we talking about? What does this person know about democracy or preservation of democracy, for God's sake?
Okay. Bro,
what we are saying,
I don't even know if, Peter Obi has that thick skin to accept criticism. Peter Obi is so hyper-focused on his image. He's so hyper-focused on his image that he wants people to look at him as this guy, this savior. At times he even tries to say, oh, I'm like the Messiah. He wants people to look at him like this savior. This person that is coming to, to help in a certain light. So it becomes very, very, a personal thing for him. And you must be able, thank you. So again, I'm saying that at this point in time, this issue has been given more virality and has been given more optics by Peter Obi. Ignore. Oh, is his personal name? Hello? And again, this is the difference. Okay? This is the difference between him. Tinubu, let's look at the president, for example. There is no name they've not called that guy. In fact, people call him drug lord. Have you seen his picture online with various cocaine stuff on his nose? They drag this guy. They drag his son. They drag his supporters day and night. And dragging is even one thing. The level of hate and obsession, and also people feel with so many reckless hate, come online, okay? And not just that, if you criticize him, that's understandable. Even if you insult him, that's understandable. But people go as far as cursing out people that support Tinubu. And again, even if you don't, there's also a difference. Now, it gets to even a very, very ridiculous level where you don't support Tinubu. Okay, let's say Mr. A does not support Tinubu. But it says that Tinubu did something, something that personally, he feels that has improved his own life or his own business, and comes online to talk about that particular thing. At times, most of them, because they're so fearful to express their opinion, they even start with, you know what, I don't support Tinubu. I didn't vote for him in this last election. But let me tell you the truth. This so policy, I don't want to mention one. It could be, okay, I would mention, this nail fund, or this forex policy, or even this so-called subsidy in my business. I think it has helped me to be able to make certain this or that. People go after him. This guy doesn't even like Tinubu. This guy is not even a Tinubu fan. He's just saying that there are some of the things that he has done that I kind of resonate with. They go after him. That's the level of disgust in our discourse today as a country. I'm telling you. And that's why, what goes around comes around. One of the most brutal critics of the obedient movement now, you believe you'll find out, are people that were once obedient. Just because they had certain disagreement between the direction that some, not even the party now, some people in the party took, they come for them. I'm telling Abu about obedient on obedient crime. That is what is trending now. Former obedient going hard on Peter Obi. And I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. It was 100% going to happen. There was no doubt in my mind that at some point they will start eating themselves, because this is how it works. You have a group of enemies that you want to focus your attention with. At some point, you run out of steam. At some point, you can no longer go on, just because, number one, maybe the enemy accept defeat and leave the scene. Or maybe the enemy fights back and then you become very weakened. Then what happens is this: because you are built with that kind of structure, because that is the way you live, what happens is that you cannot just live, but you need to just find an enemy. You cannot just live, but you need to find somebody you want to fight, because that's what gives you value. That it is what makes you relevant. That it is what makes you kind of be like who you want to be, right? Okay. Then what happens is that this set of people now leaves the scene, either because you pursued them out or either because they fight back. But you're not satisfied. Then what happens is you go to the next set of victims. And at some point, you start fighting your own. So what is really happening now in the obedient movement is that it's shrinking every day. They keep fighting each other. Some of them are still very strong supporters of Peter Obi. Don't get me wrong, because people clip me out of context. Oh God! But in 1099 times, people clip me out of context, and I don't care. I don't really care. They keep fighting themselves. So now you have this set of people that, the obedience or Peter Obi as a political person has enjoyed a lot of support from almost all the tribes. That wasn't enough to give him the presidency. But you know what's not happening? People from those other groups are now like, why am I even sticking my neck out for this guy when his core supporters are full of hate and are full of bows? Like, these guys are zero-sum individuals. Again, I'm saying that maybe Deji here is not the person that qualifies to talk about Obi.
That we cannot have a country where people who terrorize others, who do not appreciate that people have the right. Look at what they did to Joke Silva during the election. They had artists and Nollywood people supporting them. Nobody terrorized those people. But they terrorized that woman and other people, because she decided to support Tinubu in the last election.
Wow.
People have the right. I have the right. I have never voted a bad candidate, in my opinion, before. I have never voted a bad candidate before, in my opinion. In 1999, I voted Obasanjo. In 2003, I abstained. In 2011, I voted Goodluck Jonathan. In 2015, I voted Goodluck Jonathan again against the so-called lovers of democracy who wanted Buhari. I said, there's no way somebody like me can vote Buhari, a man who truncated democracy and his antecedent. And I was vindicated. I said, Buhari's mob, they will suppress freedom of speech, freedom of expression. They will drive Nigeria into autocracy and militocracy. And that was what happened. I was vindicated. In 2019, Buhari didn't even allow me to vote. He arrested me and locked me up in a prison in Kano because I couldn't vote. In 2023, I voted Omaile Sowore. So I have never voted a bad candidate before, in my opinion, in my view.
Yeah, thank God he put in his opinion, because, bro, Jonathan, I beg to differ. But again, that's his opinion and that's his view. I don't have any axe to grind.
And if the opposition makes the mistake of presenting Peter, I will vote Tinubu, just to prevent Peter Obi from emerging as president. Because we cannot have a nation. Okay, Mr. Adeyanju.
Video will still come for me. They've been coming for me. Bro, obedience have been coming for me. I'm telling you. If there is no way if you are someone that is given to voicing your opinion, obedience will come for you. Obedience will come for me. They've been coming for me. And again, I don't even have influence. To be honest with you, I don't even have influence. Right now, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just putting my own thought out there. I don't. But they come for me. Like I remember during the 2023 elections, okay, even when you don't speak, when you don't speak, right, they come for you. Is that bad? When you don't even say anything, like, oh, what, they come for you just because you are not even talking. They've dragged. Who have the obedience not dragged? Who have the obedience not dragged? Who have the obedience not dragged? They dragged, before the election, they dragged Pastor Paul Adefarasi. That one, it was bad. It got to the pastor had to say that Paul Adefarasi was the one that first told them that your guy will not win this election. Rightly so. They went after the guy. Okay, that left. Adeboye, they went after Adeboye. They told Adeboye that, and what did Pastor Adeboye say? Pastor Adeboye said, all of them are my children. Because this thing was so heated during 2023 elections. And he was saying that, you know what, I have church members that are APC, I have church members that are LP, I have church members that are PDP, I have church members, you'll even be surprised that there are church members that are even Showorez, the Showorez party. Because redeem is a very big thing. You can't, and then it's like, I pray for all of them, they're my children. Or they dragged this guy. They dragged Adeboye. And they continue to drag Adeboye. I'm not saying Pastor Adeboye is 100% perfect. We're all humans. We make mistakes. We fall at times. We mess up at times. But they dragged him. The one that even vexed me most was Kumuyi. Like, Pastor Kumuyi that doesn't even... He doesn't, he's just doing his own thing. He doesn't even try to talk to Obedient about this or PDP or LP. He doesn't even know. I'm not even sure if he knows, all these things. I mean, he's aware of what's happening in politics, but again, he doesn't even get himself into order. And the man was praying that he believed that Nigeria is going to be better. Or more, they dragged Pastor Kumuyi too. So, like, who am I that they wouldn't drag? Again, when it was time for Jesus to be crucified, you could only find a couple of people. Even Peter also, denied him. So that it is what it is. But again, let's just move on.
Where the leader of the mob will run our country.
Mr. Adeyanju, I'm happy you posited that there's a sprinkle of that extremism across board. You've mentioned Buhari. You've mentioned things around the APC. You've mentioned things about Peter Obi. But just a moment. Just a moment. Just a moment. Just a moment. I'm going somewhere.
Political extremism.
Yes, Mr. Adeyanju, I'm going somewhere. Everybody knows your antecedent. I don't think that is not in public domain.